Up guys, it's Nick here with Couch Potato Fights. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good Monday. Mine turned out to be pretty pleasant. It's pretty good. So again, like I said, I had a bit of anxiety in the morning. Anxiety is all what ifs and negative thoughts and stuff, but it's actually an alright day. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just thought I'd jump on and do a quick video. News-wise, quite Fred. News-wise, I've just seen something about Jake Paul's PFL debut options. So again, you may roll your eyes. Why am I doing something on Jake Paul again? Whether we like it or not, he's a popular guy. So they're talking about him going into MMA potentially. Boxing, there are a lot of question marks around in boxing, and we're going to assume he's going to be Julio Cesar Chavez, because let's be honest, he is. Because again, he's chosen someone that his team have obviously sat down and been like, we need saying you've not fought a legit boxer, so let's fight someone that's a legit boxer. And you fought someone much older, so let's fight someone a bit younger. Albeit, I think he's still 39, 40, which in life terms, it's not too old, but in boxing, that's literally the end of your career. And they've said fight someone with a legendary name. Again, Julio Cesar Chavez, his dad. We all know what he did for boxing. But he's still going to beat him. I still think he's going to beat him. I can't see any really feasible way that Cesar Chavez can beat him. He's older. I know that sometimes translated to experience, but I don't think it will be the case this time. He's fought Canelo Alvarez, and I think he went the distance of Canelo Alvarez, so that's impressive. But you know, when was that? You know, when did he go the distance with Canelo Alvarez? It was a professional boxing fight held on May 16, 2017. Like 8 or 9 years ago. So it's obviously very impressive that he went the distance with Canelo Alvarez, but he's not far off 10 years ago. The other thing about the fight is that I can't shake off is that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fought Anderson Silva. Jake Paul has beat Anderson Silva. So obviously Jake Paul has noticed this. I'm not saying that the fight science is always as easy as that. He's beating him, so that means he'll beat him. It doesn't work like that sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's not that, you know, easy to just say he's beating him, so that means he'll beat him. There are loads of variables that go into it. But again, he got his ass whooped by Anderson Silva. When Anderson Silva, again, was pretty much retired from the UFC and he'd gone into boxing, and I think Anderson Silva's had a handful of fights and he's lost 2 or 3 of them. So that's a bit worrying regarding Julio Cesar Chavez. But so let's pretend he's beating him, which he will. I'm pretty confident Julio Cesar Chavez will come in, despite whatever his resume says, as an underdog, definitely to Jake Paul. So they're on about the thing that I don't want to see that they're talking about, and again, this is only on a boxing news site. Apparently, Usyk's called out Jake Paul and said he'll fight him in an MMA fight, and this could happen in 2026. I don't want to see that for Usyk. I think if Usyk's done with boxing, I don't want to see him transition into MMA, because at that point he'll probably be 41, 42. It's very feasible Jake Paul could beat him in an MMA bout. Jake Paul is affiliated with PFL. He signed with the PFL. Yeah, he's signed with the PFL. So he's probably been training MMA as well as boxing. With Usyk, he'll be predominantly focusing on boxing, I imagine. I know he's multi-sport and he's also played football, and he's probably a fucking ballerina, or he's probably a chess champion. He's one of those guys that's just got in his genes. He's a bit of a beast in whatever he does. You know, he could probably do ice skate. He could probably put on a pair of ice skates and go out skating and be the best guy on the ice skating rink. But I don't want to see him go into MMA fighting Jake Paul. I think that's the one thing we all don't want, is a meme or an image of Oleksandr Usyk with Jake Paul on his back with his legs wrapped around him. It sounds so wrong, but hear me out. In a choke, bright red face, passing out, tapping out, or whatever. I want the images of Usyk to be him with his hand raised after a victory, with his national flag, with his family, all nice things, like, you know, iconic pictures that we can put on our walls or remember for years. Like, you know, the Muhammad Ali picture where he's dancing around his opponent that he's just flattened. I don't want to see a meme of him or anything being choked out by Jake Paul or being head kicked by anyone. So no, I'm not having that. I don't want to see that all whatsoever. If it happened, do you know what I always say? If it happened, I'm a hypocrite because I watch it. I don't know if I want to watch that. I don't want to see that. Nate Diaz. So Nate Diaz would be a very logical choice to have an MMA bout. I think Nate Diaz would win this. Obviously, we know Nate Diaz's resume in the UFC. He's an extremely good black belt practitioner, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Trained under Cesar Gracie for years. So he'd likely take it to the ground. If they were striking and he got in some trouble, he'd take it to the ground. I think he'd take his back. I don't even think it'd be more the ground and pound. I think he'd just get into a position to choke him out. Arm bar, knee bar, leg lock. He'd lock some up. I think he'd choke him out. That would be his clear path to victory. It'd be dangerous being an MMA fight with Jake Paul and striking when you know you could take him down and submit him, which he's done many times. Triangle choke. He could probably choose his submission and work his way there and submit Jake Paul, even if Jake Paul has a clear size advantage. Diaz, yeah, feasible. Tommy Fury, yeah, that's logical. But again, if Jake Paul is trying to say to us, I'm a legit boxer now, I want to be serious, I want to be respected by all the boxing fans, casual purists, whoever. He probably would beat Tommy Fury in a rematch. He's probably grown and he's going at a quicker rate of progression than Tommy Fury is since they last fought. Yeah, I mean, if he fought Tommy Fury, I think he'd win. I'd probably watch it again, mainly to cover it on here, but I don't know. In an MMA fight, he'd probably win. Like I say, he'll have been training MMA. He wouldn't sign with the PFL, who are probably second to the UFC. They're probably one of the bigger MMA organizations. I know there's Karate Combat out there as well, but he wouldn't sign with an organization just not train any MMA shortly. If he only started training MMA once he'd got a fight, that would be a huge mistake. Huge mistake, especially if he fought someone whose bread and butter was MMA. So Tommy Fury, maybe. I think Nate Diaz would be better so far. Conor McGregor, that would be the biggest fight of the year as far as eyes being on it. I couldn't see it happening because I don't think Conor McGregor will risk his reputation. His reputation's probably on par with fucking Harold Shipman, Fred West, fucking Jimmy Savile. His reputation's taken a huge blow in the past few years. Evidence of that, I think they're making a second Roadhouse film and I don't think they want him back. I don't even know if legally that fight could happen. You know, he's probably banned from several countries for trying to finger everyone with his penis, pretty much. I don't want to sound abrupt or rude, but, you know, it does sound quite rude, yeah. But you know what I mean? It'd be a huge fight. Everyone would watch it. I don't think it happened, though. I also don't think Conor McGregor would just risk losing. Not so much his reputation, which has gone to shit anyway. And he wants to run for president of Ireland, but apparently a lot of Irish people say that Irish people don't really like him as much now because he's making them look bad. Never met the guy, but stuff you read in the media, we don't always believe that, but you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. But if you throw enough shit, some of it stings, let's put it that way. So, yeah, he could fight Conor McGregor. I don't see it happening. Conor McGregor is getting older. The more time goes, it's just, I really can't see him having a fight. He teases a lot of fights, and he said he'll fight in BKFC, but he won't do. It won't happen. So Conor McGregor, it's just not feasible. That's more of a fantasy fight. Same as Usyk. That's in the fantasy realm with Usyk. KSI, yeah, I don't even think he's ever fought KSI. I don't think KSI would want to fight him now. Again, I think Paul's trajectory, I think he's on an upward trajectory and KSI has slowed down quite a lot. KSI did the crazy, drunken master sort of boxing in his last fight. His last fight, I think, is against Tommy Fury. It didn't go down well, and he scheduled a fight with Dylan Dennis. No one was that bothered. Did anyone really want to see him fight Dylan Dennis? Like Dylan Dennis, last time when we all watched him fight, was it Logan Paul? I think he was terrible. It was terrible. At least Logan Paul tried. Dylan Dennis was awful, you know. So again, there'd be eyes on it. Dylan Dennis is well known. Again, I knew of him. He's been famous for being hanging around with Conor McGregor, been a world champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, all that stuff. So very good on the ground, but I don't remember him being great in MMA. And yeah, KSI, the fact he was going to fight him, no one was that bothered. So when the fight got cancelled, it was like, is it because you're really ill or have you just realised no one gives a shit? Clearly, they gave a shit probably a little bit as much as you about to fight Wayne Bridge, which was mad. But yeah, Dylan Dennis, yeah. I digress slightly. KSI, yeah, to the Misfits crowd, all that lot. I'd probably watch it. Again, the build-up would be entertaining. A lot of it would be staged, obviously. KSI, maybe, but KSI reckons he's got a hand injury and he won't be fighting for some time because Darren Till called him out. If he fought Darren Till, he'd get absolutely smashed, I think. He's right to avoid Darren Till. I think if KSI fought Darren Till, that would end really badly for KSI in many ways. Anderson Silva rematch. No, what's the point in that? He's beat Anderson Silva. That would be a big step back if he fought Anderson Silva. Also to UFC and MMA people, Anderson Silva, one of the best of all time. To boxing fans, I don't know if you'd have that appeal as much to, again, casual boxing fans or purists. So I'm going to dismiss that outright. Anderson Silva, nah. If he wants an upward trajectory, he wants people to take him more seriously, fighting a 45-year-old Anderson Silva, nah, no thank you. Mike Perry, that's another suggestion. Maybe in MMA. If he fought Mike Perry in MMA, that would be interesting. If he rematched him in boxing, Mike Perry didn't look great when he fought Jake Paul in boxing. MMA, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, I'll give that a thumbs up. Perry could take him down. Perry wasn't a takedown guy when he was in the UFC. He's very much a striker, but if he knew he could do that, he would have trained MMA, fighting in general, grappling, striking, and whatnot. So he probably could take him down if he wanted to. And the last suggestion, and I just had a look at what people were saying on this subject. Dimitri Bivol. If Jake goes too ambitious, he could fight Dimitri Bivol. He won't fight Dimitri Bivol. There are levels. I know he was going to fight Canelo Alvarez, but there are levels, and Dimitri Bivol, Jake Paul. Bivol strikes me as someone that takes it very seriously, and he has a lot of respect for the sport and wants to come across as a very stoic, serious operator and one of the best ever. I'm not sure if he fight Jake Paul, and I don't know him personally. I don't know how much he's all about that. If the money was right, maybe, but I can't see that. I wouldn't really want to see him fight. Actually, no, I wouldn't want to see him fight Dimitri Bivol. I'd love to see that. Imagine that. Imagine if he fought Bivol in the next year or two. He'd get absolutely sparked out. And if you're one of the people that wouldn't mind seeing him get sparked out, obviously not seriously injured, but just like, slept, maybe. And yeah, fighting Bivol would be... It'd be attractive. Do you know why most people watch it though? Because they know that he'd get chinned. And as much as we don't want to admit it, as mature adults, allegedly, most of us want to see him get chinned. And that will happen at some point. It happens with everyone, and it will happen with him at some point. And he knows it. And he's probably got a speech prepared already for when that time comes and he gets chinned. Anyway, I don't think he'll go into MMA anytime soon. He seems quite busy with the whole boxing thing. But that was an article saying he might go into MMA. Who could he fight? And those are some ideas of who could fight. But again, quite a random video, hopefully a fun one. But he will beat his next opponent, Chavez Jr. So it's just thinking of fights after that. And again, whether I like the person or not, I want to talk about him because I want to be neutral. Some people may want to talk about Jake Paul in MMA. Some people won't give two fucks, which is fine. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you enjoy your evening. I'll keep the videos and the content up, whether they're very relevant, whether they're not so relevant like this one, depending on your opinion on Jake Paul and influencers and YouTubers. He is a legit boxer now, I guess, but as people always say, there are levels, and I'm not putting him in the same category as someone like Bivol or Bateviev or Ben Whittaker or anyone like that. Ben Whittaker, that might be a good opponent for him in the future. Vidal Riley, I'd like to see that. If he beats Chavez Jr., Vidal Riley, we should set that up. I think that'd be a cool fight. It would be well received. There'd be a lot of eyes on it. They're both very popular guys. You could do it in the UK. I think that'd go down well. Put a good card on. Yeah, I'd watch that definitely. Vidal Riley versus Jake Paul. Let's get sorted. Anyway, cheers for watching. Couch Potato Fights. Hope you have a good evening. Take care. Cheers.